An aerial view drifts over a small community situated on a peninsula.
Our land identifies who we are as an Inupiaq people.
A moose plods through the shallows. Caribou bound across a snowy field by a pine forest. Hands pluck wild berries.
We are so blessed to have fresh water, moose, caribou, berries. Our tundra provides us with traditional medicine that we still use today.
A wooden staircase has phrases etched into each riser. Spirituality, respect for nature, avoid conflict, knowledge of family tree, hard work, love for children, respect for elders, cooperation, respect for others, language and sharing.
Our Inupiaq values ground us with tradition. These values are passed down from generation to generation, and they help us to connect with not only our land and our people, but also guide us to where we need to go in the future.
Hands stitch a fur and waves roll into the coastline. A man ice fishes with a bow-shaped rod, jerking the line up and down.
We hope that these stories will be used to increase awareness about our Inupiaq way of life and our approaches for how we harvest. Ariga, teku.
A title appears as an aerial view travels over the village. Kamaksril Nunam Irrusianik. Respect the land. Inupiaq values in subsistence management in Western Arctic National Parklands. Cuts of salmon hang outside on a wooden frame, and berries packed in Ziploc bags fill a cooler. Nonok, Cyrus Harris, Kotzebue, Alaska.
Subsistence or native food gathering is a big part into living out in the country. It's our garden. We're harvesting for our breakfast, for our lunch, and for our dinner. And not only that, there's certain times of the year that we're heavily processing and putting food away for our winter use.
In a walk-in freezer, he shows off shelves filled with slabs of meat wrapped in plastic.
And for the coastal people, we'll head out on the Kotzebue Sound, roughly about 15-20 miles out, to hunt bearded seal on the pack ice.
A view pans across the frozen landscape, and a herd of caribou travels over the snow. A lone caribou grazes in a field of grass.
The caribou, our elders before us had to really understand the animal in order to be able to properly harvest, because back then they were mostly on foot or by dog team. So from their understanding about the animal is allowing that lead caribou to properly, set the path for the group of caribou that's behind it by several days or so. And then once that migration path is established, then you can harvest as much caribou as you'd like, because they do tend to follow that first group of caribou.
Kaliok Ross Schaefer, Kotzebue, Alaska.
When you shoot the animal, you thank the Great Spirit in your mind. You don't have to say it out loud for giving that animal to you, or you also thank the animal for giving himself to you or herself to you.
A photo shows a seal lying on a sheet of ice. A man harvests meat in a curing shed. In a kitchen, Kaliok sharpens a curved blade.
I don't shoot at a crowd of animals. I always try to split them apart so that you target one animal, so that you don't kill other animals unnecessarily. And then once you do the butchering, you treat that animal with respect.
On shore, two people pull fish from a net and place them in a box. In photos, women cure and cook meat.
The Eskimo way of hunting was to share your food all the time with everyone, so that nobody goes hungry. One time my son and I got 6 belugas, and we saw one boat that came in a little late and they didn't get one, so when got 5 belugas and we were going to stop, and then this one big beluga comes swimming by, and we looked at each other and said, yeah, we might as well get that one. So we got it. And then when that boat came up to us, we waved him down and gave him a beluga. That extra beluga was not meant for us, it was for somebody else.
Belugas swim through the water in a large pod. 2 people pose by a walrus as a boat floats offshore.
The way to ensure that you're going to have food when you get old, when you can't hunt anymore, is to be very generous in giving food when you're young.
Nyuksik Elizabeth Ferguson, Kotzebue, Alaska.
Your first catch of whatever it is, if you go out and hunt a caribou for the first time, you share that with an elder. You don't keep it for yourself. And that's just really out of respect for the animal, respect for your elders, and then in hopes of becoming a prosperous hunter.
An elder looks on as a young woman cleans cuts of meat. A group forages in a field of tall grass dotted with pink wildflowers. Sikorok Martha Whiting, Kotzebue, Alaska.
Arigateku, it resonates from your spirit.
The low sun shines over a snowy landscape.
Ariga is good, teku is thank you. So anything good, like when you hug somebody, you can feel the spirit. It's like ariga. You know, you can feel an aura.
A breeze blows through blades of tall grass on the shoreline.
Anytime an elder say arigateku sikorok, I embrace it, I feel it, I love it, and then it's my job to share it with other people.
There were a certain connection between respect and spirituality.
An aerial view passes over a road winding between snow caps and thawed pools of water.
If you didn't show respect to your animals, like you got too many and you left them to rot, then in the future, those animals might not give themselves to you. Everything in the Eskimo culture has a spirit, including the water, the air, the wind, the rocks, the tundra. So you try to have that respect for everything so that your land stays the way it is.
A man sits atop a rocky outcropping rising above a field of snow. An aerial view sweeps over the tundra. Kopkana Carmen Monagold, Kotzebue, Alaska.
From the time that I could remember, they would tell us that, you know, the animals give their life to us. My grandparents, uncles, aunts, I mean, that was just passed on.
A caribou skull lies in a field.
Animals give their life to you, and if you take one, you honor it by using as much of it as you can. And like when you hunt a seal, you put water in its mouth to release its spirit back into the ocean. That was one big thing. So, you know, when I go hunting, I stop after I've harvested an animal and I, you know, thank it in my mind or out loud. You start the process of harvesting with respect.
A photo zooms in on the face of a caribou, and a gray-haired woman harvests meat. Hands show off blades and tools carved from bone.
And, you know, the way that we're taught is the way that we teach.
A man sits with a group of kids.
As soon as you take me out of here, I feel like my soul starts shriveling.
In a kitchen, women chop celery and add it to a pot of meat.
And if I eat a piece of native food from home, my soul gets rejuvenated just a little. And, you know, the more traditional foods I eat, the more I feel whole.
Eggs of various sizes and colors fill a basket. A woman gestures to cuts of meat hung from a wooden frame.
And every piece of food I look at and I think of all the work that's gone into this piece that my children or my children's children may not experience because the land is changing.
Clouds swirl over a grassy valley between mountains.
When I go to camp, it's like all the world's problems disappear. I am just at peace. It's an instant peace that I feel connected to my ancestral land.
Grasses and flowering plants grow on the shoreline.
How we take care of the land will always take care of us. How we take care of the animals will take care of us. These are unwritten laws that have sustained us to where we are today. I think it's important for agencies to understand that resource management is not just a book and not just a book of laws.
Sikorok walks through her home, where fur rugs are spread out on the living room floor. She opens a chest freezer to show the food stored inside.
We have this traditional knowledge of resource management that is based on thousands upon thousands of years of our relationship with the land. It's important for Alaska Native people to be at the table to say, this is how we are going to do it.
People ice fish, and a hunter holds a rabbit by the hind legs. Katuk Mayalukin, Kotzebue, Alaska.
I'm the superintendent at Western Arctic National Parklands in Northwest Alaska.
A map appears.
Subsistence and the tradition of subsistence hunting are both a natural resource and a cultural resource.
Words painted on a window with the National Park Service logo read, "Celebrating 100 years of wilderness, wildlife, and wonder. August 25th, 1916 to August 25th, 2016.
And the Park Service, their mission is to preserve cultural and natural resources.
A sign on a building reads, Northwest Arctic Heritage Center, National Park Service.
It's doubly important to me as an Inupiaq person to manage these lands successfully so the traditions of my people can continue.
People ice fish, and a man races across a snowfield on a dog sled.
I do see myself as a liaison between the federal government and the tribes, mainly because I'm a local person, and so just being a local person allows people to trust you a little bit more. When they see you growing up and they see you living the lifestyle that they live, and they see you hunting the animals they hunt, and they see you passing on the traditions that they're passing on to their children, then you have an automatic connection.
Ripples undulate across calm water in a bay.
One of the sayings that we say is, I walk in two worlds with one spirit. I can say that I'm walking with one foot in my past, teaching my children how to pull caribou tendons, dry them, use it as sinew, and make mucklucks out of the leggings from the caribou.
Hands stitch a fur.
And I can go into a meeting in Washington, D.C. and explain why it's important to continue those traditions.
A sign has arrows pointing the way to Nalinmalin, Bering Land Bridge NP, Cape Krusenstern NM, and Barrow. At a meeting, around a dozen community members sit at long tables positioned in a U-shape. Hannah Atkinson, Kotzebue, Alaska.
I work with the Subsistence Resource Commissions for Cape Krusenstern National Monument and for Kobuk Valley National Park. They have helped me learn a lot about subsistence uses and subsistence rights and their ideas of stewardship about the land. There's a lot of tools that the National Park Service has to advocate for those rights and for those uses, and also to share the traditional knowledge that comes from generations of Inupiaq people living off the land. I strive in my job to communicate to them what those tools are and strategize about how we can fit their uses with the tools that we have so that we can make sure that subsistence is protected in the national parks for future generations.
We are part of this worldwide community, and our knowledge is knowledge that's been handed down by others for thousands of years. And it's a knowledge that could help manage people.
Sikorak.
And so I think it's important for us to have that partnership in Western science and traditional science, because we need each other. I think it's really important for us to just walk in each other's shoes and accept each other and look at the strengths that we all have to offer so we could have a better product at the end. And at the end, the better product is always about land, or fish or caribou, and we want to have that for generations to come. We are caretakers. We don't own it. Let's, do a better job in taking care of that resource so our grandchildren have it forever.
A pair of fishermen walk along the ice under a pale sky.
When you learned it from your elders, it's got a real meaning to it because you got taught the right way.
Phrases with English translations beneath them fade in and out over black. Inupiaq subsistence values. Work as a community. Share with others. Care for elders and respect their knowledge. Take only what you need. Respect animals. Be safe and prepared in the country. Learn from your ancestors. Give thanks to the spiritual creator.
Kamaksril, Nunam Irrusianik.
Respect the land. Credits. Created in collaboration with Hannah Atkinson, McCain Stella Atorok, Ikrik Saima and Kilok John Chase, Kupatkuk Ada Cleveland, Colorok Lance and Kogrok Karina Kramer, Arthur Douglas, Nyuksik Elizabeth Ferguson, Atkravotnuk Tommy Geffey, Udadagak Willie Goodwin, Nunarok Cyrus Harris, Botkatuk Lee and Okuk Sharon Harris, Katuk Maya Lukin, Kapkana Carmen Monagold, Sue Norton, Kaliok Ross Schaefer, Dan Stevenson, Sikorok Martha and Pamiok Twok Alex Whiting, Community of Kotzebue.
See, when I drum and when I sing for you, I give my 100%.
Filmed and directed by Kristen Green, Anne Beaudreau, Savannah Fletcher. Edited by Anne Beaudreau. Sound editing and mixing by Lou John B. Additional video and still footage by Hannah Atkinson, Gary Bembridge, John Chase, Kramer family, Dean Lukin, Tommy Geffey, Rob Dunbar, National Park Service, Jonathan Van Ballenberg, Kaylee Wilson.
And for you to show that respect back to me, you have to dance 110%.
Music, Song Spirit from Freshwater by Arlo Hannigan and Brian McToyak. Chester Civic Singing, ID ANLC 8182, Alaska Native Language Archive. English to Inupiaq translation, Kupnak Lorena Williams. With support from U.S. National Park Service, Western Arctic National Parklands, Emmett Family Collaboration Grant, Stanford University, University of Alaska Fairbanks. All audio-visual materials used with permission or under a Creative Commons license. This work is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution, non-commercial, no derivatives 4.0 international license.
Arigateku.